Have you ever felt like someone in your life wasn't who they pretended to be? Maybe their words were sweet, but something about them felt off. A feeling in your gut, a whisper in your spirit telling you something wasn't right. That's not paranoia, that's divine protection. God doesn't just let the wrong people walk into your life unnoticed. He gives you signs, warnings, and signals. But the real question is, will you listen? This message is not just another warning, it's a wake-up call. Because the truth is, some people are sent to distract, drain, and destroy. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. And if you ignore the signs, you may find yourself trapped in cycles of betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak. But here's the good news. God never leaves you blind. He will always show you the truth, sometimes through a feeling, sometimes through an event, and sometimes through silence. And if you stay with me until the end of this message, you will understand the 8 dark signs God shows when someone has bad intentions. Recognizing these warnings can save you years of pain, wasted energy, and emotional scars that take a lifetime to heal. So listen closely. This is not just advice. This is protection. The most dangerous people in your life are not always the ones who openly oppose you. No, the real danger comes from those who pretend to be for you, but secretly work against you. The ones who wear a mask so well that even you struggle to see the deception. The ones who drain your energy, twist your mind, and break your pieces slowly, silently, without you even realizing. God gives you warnings for a reason. A bad feeling that won't go away. A situation that reveals their true character. A moment of betrayal that forces you to see them differently. These aren't coincidences. These are divine messages. But too often people ignore them, they justify, they make excuses, they hope for change. And in the process, they allow destruction to creep inch by inch until it's too late. But not you. You're here for a reason. You're not meant to be deceived, used, or drained by people with bad intentions. You are here to step into wisdom, into clarity, into divine discernment. And when you recognize these 8 dark signs, you won't just protect yourself, you will set yourself free. So, don't miss a single word. By the time this message ends, you will have the clarity to walk away from anyone who doesn't belong in your life. You will see the signs, trust the warnings, and finally understand why God is showing you the truth. This could be the moment that saves you from years of regret. Are you ready? Let's begin. When God warns you about someone, He's not trying to hurt you, He's trying to protect you. He sees what you can't see. He hears the conversations behind closed doors. He knows the intentions buried deep in their heart. And when He shows you the truth, it's not a coincidence, it's a lifeline. But the problem? Too many people ignore the signs. They explain them away. They hold on to people longer than they should, hoping they will change, hoping things will get better. But here's a truth that's hard to accept. God doesn't remove people to hurt you. He removes them because they're hurting you. That feeling in your chest when you're around them, the exhaustion, the tension, the uneasiness that's not in your head, that's a divine warning. God is showing you that something isn't right. When you're walking in alignment with His plan, the right people bring peace, not confusion. The right people bring clarity, not chaos. But when the wrong people are in your life, everything feels heavy. Your mind is restless. Your spirit feels drained. That's not a relationship, that's a trap. The enemy doesn't always send storms. Sometimes he sends people. People who disguise themselves as friends, as lovers, as supporters, suddenly to pull you away from your purpose. And the most dangerous ones, they don't destroy you overnight. They slowly chip away at your confidence. They manipulate your emotions. They make you doubt yourself until one day you don't even recognize who you've become. And God sees it happening before you do. That's why He places warnings in your path. Maybe it's through something they say that makes your stomach turn. Maybe it's through a betrayal that finally reveals their true nature. Maybe it's through an unanswered prayer, because God is keeping something from happening for your own good. Understand this, when someone is meant to be in your life, they will never bring destruction to your spirit. They will never make you feel small, unloved, or unworthy. God's people elevate you. They don't drain you, they don't confuse you, they don't make you question your value. If someone's presence is constantly bringing you pain, that's not love, that's a lesson. And the longer you ignore the lesson, the more painful it becomes. How many times has God already shown you the truth? How many times have you felt the weight of someone's bad energy, only to push that feeling aside? The longer you hold on to what God is trying to remove, the more you delay the blessings that were meant for you. It's time to open your eyes. It's time to stop ignoring the signs. The moment you start trusting what God is showing you, your life will change. The right people will start entering. The wrong ones will start leaving. And you will finally understand that rejection is not punishment, it's protection. Let them go. Stop holding on to what God is trying to break you free from. Your peace, your purpose, your future, it's all waiting for you on the other side of obedience. Trust Him. Sign number 1, they drain your energy. Not everyone who enters your life is sent by God. Some people are distractions, some are tests, and some are sent to drain you, to weaken your spirit, to pull you further away from your purpose. One of the biggest signs God will show you when someone has bad intentions is how you feel after being around them. Do you feel lighter, or do you feel exhausted? Do you feel peaceful, or do you feel drained? Energy doesn't lie. When God places the right people in your life, their presence brings clarity, joy, and strength. But when someone is not meant to be there, their presence will feel like a burden. Conversations with them leave you feeling mentally exhausted. Being around them feels like carrying an invisible weight. And that's not normal. That's not love. That's a sign. Some people don't come into your life to add to it. They come to take your energy, to take your kindness, to take advantage of your loyalty. They only show up when they need something, but when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. They expect your support, your time, your effort, but when it's time to pour back into you, they disappear. God didn't create you to be a never-ending fuel source for people who only take. He didn't design you to be emotionally and spiritually drained by people who refuse to pour back into you. That's why He gives you feelings. That's why He allows your spirit to feel discomfort, because He knows that if you keep giving to the wrong people, you'll have nothing left for the right ones. Look at the patterns, not the words. Words can deceive. Promises can be empty. But energy always tells the truth. If someone constantly drains you, if their presence leaves you tired, if their friendship or relationship feels one-sided, it's time to open your eyes. That's not a coincidence. That's a red flag from God. God's people don't drain you. They don't take without giving. They don't leave you feeling empty, anxious, or unappreciated. They pour into you. They lift you. They strengthen your faith and your spirit. That's the difference between someone who is meant for you and someone who is using you. And here's what most people don't realize. When you allow the wrong people to stay in your life, they block the blessings meant for you. Because God will not pour into a cup that is already being drained by the wrong hands. How much longer will you ignore what God is trying to show you? How much longer will you allow yourself to feel empty, tired, and depleted? You are not a resource for toxic people. You are not a lifeline for people who only take. When someone's presence steals your peace, when their energy drains you more than it fills you, that's your answer. You don't need more proof. You don't need more signs. You need to listen to what God has already shown you. Let go of what's draining you. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Because when you finally remove the wrong people, you make space for the right ones to enter. Sign number 2. They manipulate your emotions. When someone has bad intentions, they don't always show it through words or actions. Sometimes they show it through manipulation, subtle, quiet, but deeply destructive. They don't attack you openly. Instead, they play with your emotions, twist your thoughts, and make you question yourself. God doesn't want you to live in confusion. He is a God of clarity, not chaos. And when someone constantly makes you doubt yourself, feel guilty for no reason, or second-guess your own reality, that's not love, that's control. Manipulation is a dark weapon. It doesn't come with a warning sign. It sneaks up on you. It makes you believe that maybe, just maybe, you're the problem. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. You start explaining yourself for things that need no explanation. And worst of all, you start believing that if you just try harder, love more, give more, things will get better. But they won't, because manipulation is not an accident, it's a pattern. Watch how they react when you express your feelings. Do they listen, or do they turn it around on you? Do they take responsibility, or do they make you feel guilty for even bringing it up? If every conversation feels like a battle where you're constantly defending yourself, wake up. That's not love. That's a game. And the longer you play, the more you lose yourself. Some people don't want a relationship. They want control. They want you to be dependent on them, to always feel like you're the one making mistakes, to keep you in a cycle where you feel like you owe them something. And when God starts revealing these patterns to you, don't ignore them. Because the longer you allow manipulation, the harder it is to break free. Here's the truth. Love does not confuse. Love does not manipulate. Love does not leave you questioning your worth. When God sends the right people into your life, they bring understanding, not mind games. They bring peace, not silent wars. But when someone constantly twists your words, makes you feel guilty for their mistakes, or convinces you that you're being too sensitive when you express your pain, that's a red flag from God. Pay attention. God is showing you that this person is not meant to stay. Emotional manipulation is not love. It's a trap. It's a way to keep you controlled, to keep you doubting yourself, to keep you feeling small. And if you're feeling that weight in your chest right now, if these words are hitting something deep inside you, that's not a coincidence. That's your confirmation. God is calling you to step out of the fog, to reclaim your strength, to stop letting people play with your emotions as if your heart is a game board. You are not weak. You are not crazy. You are not unworthy. You have simply been manipulated into believing that you are. But today, that stops. No more explaining yourself to people who twist your words. No more apologizing for things that aren't your fault. No more walking on eggshells, afraid of their reaction. If someone cannot love you without controlling you, they don't deserve access to you. Let them go. Stop justifying their behavior. God is giving you a way out. Take it. Sign number 3. They break your peace. God speaks through peace. When something is right for you, it brings calmness, security, and clarity. But when something or someone is wrong, it creates chaos. Your spirit feels restless. Your mind is filled with overthinking. You start questioning your worth, your actions, and even your own sanity. That's not love. That's a sign. Some people don't come into your life to bring peace. They come to disrupt it. They create problems where there are none. They bring unnecessary drama. They keep you in a cycle of confusion, always guessing where you stand with them. One day they act like they care. The next day they make you feel invisible. And the worst part, you start accepting it. You start believing that love is supposed to feel like this, like a battlefield, like an endless struggle. But love is not war. Love does not exhaust your spirit. It does not leave you feeling emotionally drained and mentally exhausted. When God places the right people in your life, they bring peace, not pain. They bring security, not stress. If someone's presence is constantly disturbing your peace, that's a message. That's not a relationship. That's a storm. And storms are meant to pass, not to stay. Think about it. How often do you feel at peace when they're around? How often do you feel safe in their presence? Or do you feel like you're always on edge, waiting for the next argument, the next lie, the next moment where they make you feel like you're not enough? That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's not love. God is not the author of confusion. He does not send people into your life to keep you anxious, uncertain, or walking on eggshells. That kind of energy is not divine, it's destructive. And if someone keeps breaking your peace, it's time to listen to what God is telling you. Here's the truth most people don't want to accept. If you have to beg for peace in a relationship, you're in the wrong relationship. If you have to constantly fix the same problems, constantly prove your worth, constantly fight to be understood, you're forcing something that was never meant to last. God is not trying to punish you by revealing someone's true nature. He's trying to protect you. But He can't protect you if you refuse to let go. He can't bring better into your life if you're still holding on to what's breaking you. Ask yourself this: do you feel more at peace with them or without them? If the thought of them leaving brings relief instead of pain, that's your answer. If you're happier when they're not around, that's your answer. If your heart feels lighter when you step away from them, that's your answer. Stop holding on to people who steal your peace. Stop making excuses for people who only bring chaos. Stop convincing yourself that things will change when God has already shown you the truth. Peace is not something you chase, it's something you protect. And if someone is constantly breaking it, God is giving you permission to walk away. Take it. Sign number 4, they pretend to support you, but secretly compete with you. Not everyone who claps for you is happy for you. Some people smile in your face, but behind that smile is envy. Behind their encouragement is jealousy. They pretend to support you, but deep down, they're waiting for you to fail. And God will show you. Pay attention to how they react when good things happen in your life. Do they celebrate you sincerely, or do they give you a half-hearted congratulations and quickly change the subject? Do they uplift you, or do they suddenly distance themselves when you're doing well? Some people only feel comfortable around you when you're struggling because as long as you're down, they don't have to feel insecure about themselves. That's not a friend. That's not a supporter. That's a hidden competitor. And hidden competition is dangerous because it disguises itself as love. These people won't attack you directly. Instead, they'll make subtle comments to make you doubt yourself. They'll tell you, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or, "I don't think you're ready for that yet." They disguise their jealousy as concern. They disguise their insecurity as advice. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. You'll start playing small. You'll start shrinking your dreams to make them comfortable. You'll stop talking about your success because you don't want to make them feel bad. But here's the truth. God did not bless you to make others feel comfortable. God did not give you talent, vision, and opportunity so you could dim your light for someone who refuses to shine their own. A real supporter will push you higher. They won't compete with you. They won't feel threatened by your growth. They won't celebrate you in public but envy you in private. And most importantly, they won't disappear the moment you start doing better than them. God will reveal people's true hearts. Sometimes he does it through small signs, a fake smile, a forced compliment, a lukewarm response to your success. And other times, he does it through complete removal, people suddenly walking away, friendships falling apart, connections fading without explanation. That's not a loss. That's protection. If someone cannot handle your growth, if they secretly resent your success, if they always find a way to downplay your achievements, that's your sign. That's God telling you, this person is not for you. And it might hurt. It might feel personal. But remember, this jealousy is never about you. It's about them. It's about their own insecurities, their own fears, their own inability to rise higher. You can't fix that. You can't shrink yourself to make them feel better. You were created to rise, to grow, to become everything God designed you to be. And the right people, they won't fear your success. They'll fuel it. Let go of fake supporters. Let go of hidden competition. Surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you win. Because when you do, you'll finally understand God doesn't remove people to hurt you. He removes them to make room for something greater. Sign number 5, they use your kindness against you. A good heart is a gift, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a target. Some people don't appreciate kindness, they exploit it. They see your compassion as weakness. They see your loyalty as something to be taken advantage of. And before you know it, you're giving, sacrificing, and bending over backward for someone who wouldn't lift a finger for you. That is not love. That is not friendship. That is manipulation. God did not create you to be used. He did not place kindness in your heart so others could drain you, take from you, and leave you empty. But some people will keep taking as long as you allow them to. They will keep testing your boundaries. They will keep asking for more, expecting more, demanding more, until you finally wake up and realize this is not love, this is control. Watch how they treat you when you say no. Do they respect it, or do they guilt trip you? Do they make you feel bad for choosing yourself? Because real love respects boundaries. Real love understands that you are not a machine, that you have limits, that you have the right to protect your energy. But when someone only values you for what you can give, they never truly valued you in the first place. How many times have you ignored that voice inside you? That feeling that says, I'm being taken advantage of. That exhaustion that comes from always being the one to fix, to help, to save, but never receiving that same energy in return. That's not a coincidence. That's not an accident. That's a warning from God. God will show you who really loves you by how they treat you when you have nothing to offer. Pay attention. When you stop over-giving, when you stop bending over backward, when you stop pouring into them while they leave you empty, who stays? Who still values you, respects you, and supports you without expecting anything in return? That's your answer. That's who truly cares about you. Some people only want to be in your life because of what you can do for them. They don't want to give, they don't want to support, they don't want to pour back into you, they just want to take. And if you let them, they will drain your spirit until there's nothing left of you. But not anymore. No more letting people guilt trip you into overextending yourself. No more being afraid to say no. No more keeping people in your life just because you don't want to seem selfish. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. You are not wrong for setting boundaries. You are not unkind for refusing to be used. God is calling you to value yourself the way He values you. To stop shrinking to fit into relationships that only survive when you're sacrificing your own well-being. To stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, over-giving to people who wouldn't do the same for you. You are not here to be used. You are not here to be drained. You are here to live, to grow, to thrive. And anyone who truly loves you will respect that, not fight against it. Let go of those who only take. God will replace them with people who truly pour into you. Sign number 6, they manipulate you with guilt and fear. Some people don't want a relationship with you, they want control over you. And the way they do it? Through guilt and fear. They don't ask for respect, they demand it. They don't encourage you, they make you feel obligated. And when you try to set boundaries, they twist your words, turn the situation around, and make you feel like you're the problem. That's not love, that's manipulation. God does not send people into your life to control you through fear. He does not connect you with people who make you feel like you owe them for everything they've done. If someone truly loves you, they won't hold past favors over your head like a contract. They won't remind you every chance they get of how much they've helped you. Love doesn't keep score, but manipulators do. They remind you of every little thing they've ever done for you, not because they care, but because they want to use it against you. They want you to feel like you can't leave, like you owe them your time, your energy, your loyalty. And that's how they trap you. They make you feel like saying no is betrayal. They make you feel like distancing yourself is wrong. They tell you things like, after everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. Or, if you leave, you'll regret it. That is not love. That is emotional blackmail. Real love does not require guilt. Real love does not need manipulation. If someone truly cares about you, they don't need to force you to stay in their life. You choose to stay because their presence is uplifting, not because you're scared of the consequences. Fear-based relationships are not from God. Love should not feel like a prison. It should not feel like a constant power struggle. It should not leave you walking on eggshells, afraid that one wrong move will turn everything into a fight. So ask yourself, do you feel free around them? Or do you feel trapped? Do they let you have your own opinions, your own space, your own life, or do they make you feel guilty for wanting any of those things? That's your answer. God does not want you in relationships where you feel like a prisoner. He does not want you tied to people who use guilt as a chain, keeping you locked in a cycle of obligation and fear. That's not connection, that's control. And it's time to break free. You don't owe anyone your peace. You don't owe anyone your freedom. You don't owe anyone a lifetime of guilt just because they once did something nice for you. Real love gives without expectation. It doesn't keep you bound to fear. Let go of anyone who makes you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Let go of anyone who makes you question your own worth. If you have to sacrifice your happiness, peace, and freedom just to keep them in your life, that is your sign they were never meant to stay. Sign number 7, they constantly disrespect your boundaries. When someone truly values you, they respect your limits. They listen when you say no. They don't push you to do things that make you uncomfortable. They don't try to control your time, your space, or your emotions. But when someone has bad intentions, they don't see boundaries as something to respect. They see them as something to break. They test you. They push your limits. They ignore your words and do what they want anyway. Pay attention. Because every time you let it slide, every time you give in, every time you say, maybe I'm overreacting, you're teaching them that your boundaries don't matter. And once they know they can cross the line without consequences, they will keep doing it. God does not want you in relationships where you have to beg for respect. He does not want you surrounded by people who dismiss your feelings, ignore your needs, and act like your comfort is a joke. Respect is not something you should have to fight for. It should be given freely, out of love. But some people don't love you. They just love what they can get from you. They love their ability to control you. They love that you always give in, that you always make excuses for them, that you always let them back in even after they've disrespected you time and time again. It's time to stop. Because when you allow people to violate your boundaries, it doesn't just hurt you, it teaches them that they can do the same to others. It teaches them that their behavior is okay. And it's not. Think about how many times you've swallowed your feelings just to keep the peace. How many times you've let someone's disrespect slide because you didn't want to start an argument. How many times you've allowed someone to walk all over you because you were afraid of losing them. But if someone is only in your life because you allow them to mistreat you, then you've already lost them. You shouldn't have to fight to be respected. You shouldn't have to argue just to be heard. The right people will honor your boundaries because they care about you, not because you force them to. And if someone refuses to respect you, that's not a misunderstanding, that's a choice. A choice to put their own needs above your comfort. A choice to ignore your words. A choice to prove to you again and again that they do not value you the way you deserve. Let that sink in. God is not sending you people who make you question your worth. He is not placing people in your life to break you down, to test you, to make you feel small. If someone constantly pushes past your boundaries, if they refuse to respect your time, your space, your emotions, it's because they were never meant to stay. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't care to listen. Stop giving second chances to people who take advantage of your kindness. Stop making excuses for those who disrespect you repeatedly. Walk away from what does not serve you. Protect your peace. Protect your spirit. God will replace what you lost with something far greater. Sign number 8. Your spirit feels restless around them. Sometimes, the biggest warning sign isn't what someone says or does, it's what your spirit feels when you're around them. You can't always explain it, but deep down, something doesn't feel right. Something inside you feels unsettled, like a weight pressing on your chest. That's not paranoia. That's discernment. When God wants to protect you from someone, He doesn't always send loud, obvious signs. Sometimes He whispers. He places a quiet discomfort in your heart, a spiritual alarm that tells you to pay attention. But too often, people ignore that feeling. They silence it with excuses. They say, maybe I'm just overthinking, or I shouldn't judge them too quickly. And then, months or even years later, they finally see the truth and regret not listening sooner. You don't need to wait for proof before you trust what God is showing you. You don't need to see betrayal before you believe the feeling in your gut. If your spirit feels restless, if you feel drained, anxious, or uneasy every time you're around someone, that is not a coincidence. That is a message. Pay attention. The wrong people bring chaos into your life. They drain your energy. They confuse your mind. They make your heart feel heavy, not light. That's not what real connection feels like. Real connection brings peace. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel at home. But when someone has bad intentions, your spirit knows before your mind does. Your body reacts in ways you can't explain. You feel tense. You feel uneasy. You feel like something is off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. That's not something to ignore. That's not something to brush aside. That is God trying to warn you. Think back to a time when you ignored that feeling. A time when you stayed in a friendship, a relationship, or a situation that deep down you knew wasn't right. What happened? Chances are you ended up hurt. You ended up drained. You ended up looking back and saying, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't listen. That's why you have to start trusting that feeling the first time. Not after they betray you, not after they show their true colors, not after they leave you broken. The first time, because the moment you sense restlessness in your spirit, the moment you feel drained and uneasy after spending time with someone, that's your sign. God is not the author of confusion. He does not send people into your life to bring you misery, stress, and exhaustion. If someone is making you feel that way, they were never meant to be there. Stop ignoring the signs. Stop silencing your intuition. Stop waiting for something bad to happen before you take action. Your peace is your confirmation. If someone disrupts that peace, if their presence makes your spirit feel heavy instead of light, that is all the proof you need. Let them go. Because the right people, they don't bring confusion. They don't bring chaos. They don't make you question yourself. The right people bring peace. And peace is always a sign that God is near. How many times has life taught you a lesson the hard way? How many times have you looked back and said, I should have seen this coming? The truth is, you did see it coming. God showed you the signs. He whispered warnings in your spirit. He made you feel uncomfortable. He revealed things in small moments, things that didn't sit right, things that made you second guess someone's intentions. But instead of listening, you gave them another chance. Instead of trusting your spirit, you waited for more proof. Instead of walking away, you hoped they would change. That's where most people go wrong. They don't fall into bad situations because God didn't warn them. They fall into them because they ignored the warnings. Every toxic relationship, every betrayal, every painful lesson, it all started with a sign that was dismissed, a gut feeling that was ignored, a moment of doubt that was pushed aside. But let this be the moment when you decide no more. No more ignoring red flags. No more staying in places that drain you. No more giving your energy to people who prove again and again that they do not deserve it. God is not going to force you to walk away from the wrong people. He is not going to drag you out of toxic relationships. He is not going to remove someone from your life against your will. He will show you who they are, but it's up to you to believe him. How many times does he have to show you before you listen? How many sleepless nights? How many broken promises? How many moments of exhaustion, stress, and disappointment? You don't need more proof. You don't need another painful lesson. You don't need to wait until you're completely broken before you take action. God is calling you to trust his signs more than your own desires, to trust his guidance more than your own excuses, to trust his plan more than your own attachment. Because the people he removes for a reason. The doors he closes for a purpose. The relationships he ends to protect you from something you can't yet see. You may not understand it now. You may feel hurt. You may feel confused. You may even feel like you're losing something important. But you are not losing. You are being redirected. You are being saved. You are being positioned for something greater. The longer you hold on to people who were never meant for you, the longer you delay the blessings that are waiting for you. So trust the signs. Listen to your spirit. Pay attention when God shows you someone's true colors. Because when someone is wrong for you, God will reveal it again and again and again until you finally see it for yourself. And when you finally see it, don't hesitate, don't question it, don't look back. Because when you let go of what isn't meant for you, God will replace it with something better than you ever imagined. Letting go isn't easy. It's one of the hardest things you will ever do. But keeping the wrong people in your life will cost you more than walking away ever will. Too many people stay stuck, not because they don't see the truth, but because they're afraid of what happens after they let go. They fear loneliness. They fear regret. They fear starting over. But what if you shifted your mindset? What if instead of fearing what you're losing, you focused on what you're gaining? When you release toxic people, you don't just lose their negativity, you gain peace. You gain clarity. You gain the freedom to grow into who you were meant to be. Holding on to the wrong people is like holding on to a rope that's burning your hands. The longer you grip it, the more damage it does. You keep holding on because you think the pain of losing them is worse than the pain of keeping them. But it's not. The real pain is staying in a situation that is draining your soul. God will never ask you to let go of something without having something greater in store for you. But he won't reveal that greater thing until you take the first step. Until you stop clinging to people who are blocking your blessings. Until you make room for better. You can't step into your future while being chained to your past. You can't embrace new beginnings while holding on to old wounds. You can't welcome the right people into your life when your space is still occupied by the wrong ones. Some people were never meant to go where you're going. Some relationships were only meant to be lessons, not lifelong connections. Some people were only meant to teach you what you don't deserve, so you'll recognize real love, real friendship, and real loyalty when it comes. And if you refuse to let go, if you keep ignoring the signs, life will force you to release them. The betrayals will get worse. The disappointments will become unbearable. The relationship will drain you until you have nothing left. Don't wait for that. Don't wait until you're broken to make the choice you already know you need to make. Your destiny is too important. Your peace is too valuable. Your future self is waiting for you to be strong enough to choose your own well-being over your attachments. When someone's absence brings you more peace than their presence ever did, that is your answer. When you have to lower your self-worth to keep someone in your life, that is your answer. When you feel lighter, freer, and happier without them, that is your answer. Let them go. Not because you don't care, not because you don't love them, but because you love yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. And when you finally let go, when you finally make peace with the decision that's been weighing on your heart, you'll realize something powerful: you were never losing them. You were finding yourself. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is necessary. Too many people give their time, their love, their kindness to those who only take. They pour into others but are left empty themselves. They fight for relationships that were never meant to last. They hold on to people who drain them, hoping one day they will change. But here's the truth. People don't change just because you want them to. They change when they decide to. And some people have no intention of changing. Some people are perfectly fine using you, manipulating you, and taking advantage of your kindness for as long as you allow it. That is why boundaries are so important. Boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They are gates to let the right people in. They are the lines that protect your heart, your peace, and your purpose. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot fix people who refuse to heal. You cannot carry someone else's weight when you're barely standing yourself. Your energy is precious. Your peace is priceless. If someone consistently disrupts your spirit, if their presence leaves you drained, if you feel uneasy every time they're around, that is a sign. A sign that you need to step back, reevaluate, and protect yourself. Do not let guilt keep you trapped in toxic relationships. Do not let history convince you to stay where you are no longer valued. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time does not mean they deserve to stay. Longevity does not equal loyalty. God removes people for a reason. He takes away distractions. He reveals the truth. He shows you who is real and who is not. But the decision to act on that truth is yours. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop trying to prove your worth to those who will never appreciate it. Stop breaking yourself into pieces to make someone else feel whole. Your purpose is too great. Your time is too valuable. Your heart is too precious to waste on people who were never meant to be part of your destiny. Let them go. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Clarity that your peace matters. Clarity that your energy deserves protection. Clarity that walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. And when you finally choose yourself, when you finally stop allowing toxic people to drain you, you will feel something you haven't felt in a long time: freedom. Discomfort is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a warning, a signal from your spirit telling you that something or someone is not right. But too often people ignore it. They brush it off. They tell themselves they're overreacting. They let their emotions talk them out of their instincts. That uneasy feeling you get around certain people, that's not just in your head. That's discernment. That's God trying to tell you something. Energy doesn't lie. Someone can smile in your face, say all the right words, and still have bad intentions. But their energy, how you feel when you're around them, will always tell the truth. The mistake people make is thinking they need proof before they walk away. They wait for a major betrayal. They wait for undeniable evidence that someone is against them. But deep down, they already know. The tension, the lack of peace, the anxiety that rises when that person enters the room, that is enough. Not everyone who stands next to you is for you. Some people only keep you close because they want to control you. Some people only act like they care because they want something from you. Your soul knows when something is off. Pay attention. Trust the uneasiness. Trust the tension. Trust the moments that don't sit right with you. Those aren't just feelings, they're warnings. God doesn't always show you why someone needs to leave your life. Sometimes He just lets you feel the shift, the distance, the change in their energy. And it's up to you to listen. You do not need permission to walk away from what no longer feels right. You do not need proof to trust your instincts. You do not need an apology to close a chapter that no longer serves you. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop making excuses for people who keep showing you who they are. If their presence brings confusion, heaviness, or doubt, let them go. If your spirit feels uneasy every time you're around them, that is your answer. When God removes someone, don't chase them. When he shuts a door, don't force it back open. The longer you entertain the wrong people, the longer you delay the blessings meant for you. You are not here to carry dead weight. You are not here to fix people who refuse to change. You are not here to dim your light just to make others comfortable. Trust the discomfort. Trust the warning signs, because when you finally listen, you will realize one thing: you were never losing them. You were setting yourself free. Some people will never respect you until you leave. They will never appreciate your presence until they feel your absence. And by the time they realize what they lost, you will already be gone. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to beg for understanding. You do not need to fight to be seen, heard, or valued. If someone cannot recognize your worth while you're standing in front of them, then they were never meant to walk this journey with you. Let them talk. Let them call you cold, selfish, or heartless. Let them twist the story to make themselves the victim. That is what people do when they can no longer control you. They try to control how others see you. But none of that matters. What matters is that you chose yourself. You chose your peace over chaos. You chose your future over familiarity. You chose to stop explaining, stop proving, and stop trying to fix what was never yours to fix. When you walk away completely. No more second chances, no more justifications, no more hoping they will change. If they wanted to change, they would have done it while you were still there. You are not obligated to keep toxic people in your life just because of history. You are not required to stay in spaces that drain your soul just because you used to love them. Growth means outgrowing. Strength means letting go. The moment you stop allowing distractions, the right people will come. The moment you stop wasting energy on the wrong ones, you will find peace like never before. God doesn't take people away to hurt you. He removes them to prepare you. Every time he closes a door, it's because something better is on the way. But you will never receive his blessings if your hands are still full of what he told you to release. Let them go. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons they taught you. Gratitude for the wisdom you gained. Gratitude for the strength you now have. The best revenge is success. The best response is silence. The best decision is to walk away and never look back. If this message spoke to you, if you feel this in your spirit, then it's time. Cut off what no longer serves you. Choose your peace. Protect your energy. And step into the life that God has waiting for you. If this video gave you clarity, like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear this message. And remember, when you walk away from what's not for you, you make room for everything that is.